ride in the European Championships, and just look at the way he's going now. What a great moment for Matt Llewellyn. He's right in the slipstream of Terry Rymer. He's just 23 years of age. Crashed very, very heavily at Castle Combe this year. He's a 250 man, a former 250 man, and as Steve said, take to the 750 as well. Halfway through the race, Llewellyn goes in front of Terry Rymer up to the Lake Esses. So through the Lake Esses, Llewellyn, the cheeky Matt Llewellyn goes through. What a super ride for him, hooking it down through the gearbox. He must now, Steve, be on the crest of a wave.
Yeah, very much so, because this season, as I say, he's had a few ups and downs, and a lot of downs, unfortunately, but he looks to be riding good at the moment. His bike's fast. He looked like he outgunned Terry down the straight there and got on the brakes pretty late. But again, Terry will be getting his pit signals. I don't think he'll be too concerned at this moment. There's a long way yet to go. We're on lap 10. We're at half race distance, so there's quite a bit more to do, but it's all down to those last few laps as who's got good tyres left, fresh tyres, and can get through possibly at the hairpin once again, because that's the easiest place to overtake. Terry's right in his slipstream now. He's come out of Gerard's a bit faster than Matt. He's going to brake later, and through he goes on the inside into the S's.
Well, a piece of copybook riding there at the S's as Terry Rymer again back in front. So Matt Llewellyn relegated to second. Father Tony will be there putting out the pit board. Great stuff for Matt Llewellyn second. Still the race on. Tim Bourne's still there. Morrison is now up to fourth. So Brian Morrison is really piling on the coals. Number 2 in fourth place. There it is. The caption confirms it. So Morrison is closing. He is the only man, and I remind you, who can threaten the supremacy of Terry Rymer in the championship. Terry Rymer needs to keep the Yamaha going. Brian Morrison, for his part, needs to keep closing in on the 23-year-old, formerly from Lee Green, now living in Barnehurst in Kent. Terry Rymer, the race leader, has his serious challenger, Brian Morrison, in fourth place.
Yeah, Brian really needs to be past Terry, but that's going to be quite a feat to close that gap. But he has put the fastest lap in, and he's the man that's got everything to go for. He can afford to stick his neck out a little bit more, because for him, third place isn't good enough. He has to be in front of Terry Rymer, so I think we'll see Brian charge it. If he closes on Terry, and if he passes Terry, then you could easily see Terry just following him home, because that's still good enough for his championship position to win this British Super Cup Championship.
Well, Morrison now past Tim Bourne. Mark Linscott is also coming with him. Linscott is now breathing down the neck of Tim Bourne as Brian Morrison has almost a clear road ahead of him. The man in front, of course, is number 28, Matt Llewellyn, and once Brian Morrison can slip past him, he then has Terry Rymer firmly in his sights, and the vast experience of Morrison could well wear down the ever so slight lead that Terry Rymer has. As they come up to the hairpin again, it's Llewellyn, number 28, right with race leader Terry Rymer on the Yamaha. Rymer's round. A distinct Loctite livery through the S's, flicking it out towards the Devil's Elbow. Coming round again. This is where Morrison threw it away in such a big way in 1988 when the back wheel just slid out and he almost landed in the pit area there, but this time no problem for him. Terry Rymer now is some 3, 4, maybe even 5 machine lengths, and as they go down Steb Straight, or exiting Gerard's for Steb Straight, goodness me, that is deceiving there. He's away. Llewellyn, Morrison, Mark Linscott is by Tim Bourne, and Steve Williams, number 31, a brave fight for him, hanging on to 6th.
I'm very, very impressed with Matt Llewellyn. He's riding so well. I mean, to be in front of the likes of Brian Morrison and John Reynolds and Steve Spray, it's a terrific ride he's having here today, and Terry's not pulling away. I don't suppose he's actually trying 100% at the moment, because as we said earlier, he needs to finish this race to get some points. Morrison is closing a little bit, but Matt Llewellyn is making a name for himself here today.
So, something out of the bag again for Llewellyn. He's got the signal, obviously, that Morrison's on the charge, doesn't want the canny Scott to come past him. He's got to keep on going as hard as he can, and in doing so, will stay with Terry Rymer, who is very much on the pace right now. Absolutely flying Terry Rymer. The gap now almost 50 metres. Through the S's again. Rymer leads Llewellyn. Morrison is closing now. He's got Llewellyn in his sights. Mark Linscott is in 4th still, and 5th it is still number 33, Tim Bourne. Morrison right with Matt Llewellyn, number 28. Yellow flags out further down the circuit for an incident at Gerrard's. That could, what that means is the riders have to ride with caution but maintain. There can be no passing on the yellow flag, but what it does do is give Brian Morrison the opportunity to close.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a pace car would come out in America. You have to hold your station, but it doesn't really stop a rider from behind closing that gap. But Morrison has closed on Llewellyn now, no doubt about it. He's right there with him, but he's going to struggle to get past him. Mallory Park is not known for its easy overtaking. The hairpin is the place you're going to, if you are going to do it, is the easiest place. So we could see Morrison make a move on the inside, but he's going to have to go some to catch Terry at this moment. I think we're on lap 15 with 5 laps to go. So first he needs to pass Llewellyn to close the gap on Terry Rymer.
So there you see the top 6 as the race goes on, and what a frantic battle it is here indeed. Terry Rymer, still Matt Llewellyn, still Brian Morrison very much in his wheel tracks. The sun blazing down, brilliant weather. What tremendous weather we've had for the 1990 road race season. It's so much more fun to race when the conditions are like this, and Morrison and Matt Llewellyn absolutely side by side, and Morrison going into the end, leaning on Llewellyn, but Llewellyn's on the tight line. They flick it through. Can Morrison do it on the brakes up to the hairpin? But he's on the outside, having to go the wide way round. Hey, Llewellyn down! Put Llewellyn under just that much pressure. Matt Llewellyn very, very annoyed with himself for that, but that was the psychological pressure by the experienced rider.
Yeah, it's such a shame for Matt Llewellyn because he was riding so well, but he just implied too much front brake. You can see on the brakes, the back wheel skipping off the ground, lock the front up. To lock a front slick tyre, you really have to be grabbing that front brake. Unfortunately for Morrison, it's put him out wide, so it's lost time on from his point of view, but it's done Terry Rymer no harm whatsoever.
Well, I think we should rename Shaw's Corner the incident hairpin, because it's all happened here at the hairpin today at Mallory. And now Brian Morrison is some seconds down on the race leader, Terry Rymer, who will soon be encountering some back markers. Let's hope there's no fuel or oil spilt on the track there as a result of Matt Llewellyn throwing it away. But up to the chicane. I'm waiting now as Terry Rymer comes down over the start-finish line. So Rymer goes over. Morrison